practice with Sacha this morning. What about business?
In terms of business, it's really interesting because when you have a specific method or technique, you can charge more, of course, because it takes more time, it takes more products, and it takes your vision, your signature, your analysis. So this is what you charge in salon.
How much more?
At minimum, 20% more, but me, honestly, I think 50% more than a color application.
Okay. So what does that mean for you in your salon when you charge your French balayage?
In terms of
euros?
Price?
Yeah, how many euros, for example?
From 300 to 400 euros only for the balayage.
Okay.
And gloss. Okay. Balayage and gloss.
Gloss included.
Gloss included, because this is the sophistication, the French sophistication, the ultimate one, is to be seamless and raffinate, and you can't be raffinate without the gloss, for sure.
Yeah, that's the gloss is bringing as well some Frenchness into it.
It's the French touch.
Exactly. Then there is also this link with fashion, with the timeless aspect. What can you tell us about it?
Because the trends are changing, you can include the trends into your French balayage. It means like sometimes it's more edgy, sometimes it's more glamorous, sometimes it's more bold. Depends of the sombre, ombre, the contrast, the relief that you want to include, the dimension of colors. Sometimes it's we are more into cool colors, sometimes into warm colors, sometimes between. So with balayage, you can compose that.
Okay.
You can follow the trends easier than with color.
Okay, cool. So we can conclude by saying that French balayage is born in France. It has been distributed worldwide, shared worldwide, and it's a big pillar of services in France. But it's also a big pillar, consequently, of L'Oréal professional services. So that's really something we're going to discover that is really important to master also the code of aesthetics of L'Oréal Professionnel in a way. Okay? So thank you, Sacha. See you in 2 minutes for the demonstration, and I finish a few information
See you guys.
With our friends. Thank you. So briefly, because you already saw, they say, hey. So briefly, because you already saw this presentation 2 weeks ago, we want to tell you that we are on board from today until the next 3 years into a journey, okay? We're going to travel together, and we're going to potentialize and make better and better French balayage service with 2 things. One, as you know, the lightning phase, and today we're going to use Multi-Technique 8 because that's the product the better distributed in Asia. That's number one. We're going to, with this product, show the right technique. Okay, we're going to focus on the technique today. Of course, in addition to what we said with Sacha now, we're going to talk about the right definition of the service. What is French balayage? And we're going to use the right product. And that's the point I want to focus on now. Ideally, in the best world, we use Blanc Studio and Dialight. We know that in Asia, Dialight is distributed, but not as powerfully as it could. And you may not have all the shades, even if you have a few shades to neutralize. So we know that. So we need to share this information and know it's not the best situation, but it's 2021. 2021 is focusing on the application, the spirit of French balayage, the DNA of French balayage. Those who don't have Dialight and are toning with Magifashion still keep on going this year. That's 2021. So today is the starting point. Next year, 2022, you're going to have 2 more products on Blanc Studio, and you're going to have a new launch on Dialight to really potentialize Dialight as it deserves. And in 2023, another step to go even further. So this way, we know France, DMI, and all Asia that we're going to take 3 years to really potentialize French balayage as it should. So that's what we need to share together. So what is French balayage? French balayage is a professional two-step technique associating seamless lightning, we're going to focus on that today, and a nourishing gloss, dialight. It's always French-like, natural looking. This is really important, natural. Whatever your balayage desire. Soft contrast, high contrast, dark base, light base. So it's for everybody. But the two main information that you put in your head is seamless, toning, nourishing gloss, okay? Seamless, nourishing gloss. That's really the DNA of French balayage. So let's see what is French balayage very quickly and what is not. On the left side of your screen, you can see French balayage. You don't have any clear graphic line, and most of the time it's neutralized. Totally neutralized or partially neutralized, but globally what we ask to women worldwide, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in USA, in America, most of the time they want neutralized results. And so the toning is most of the time neutralized, okay? That's number one. What is not French balayage on the other side of your screen is that you see some lines, you have some visual interruptions, or it's sometimes too light, too pushy, or sometimes it looks colored. And a French balayage shouldn't look too much colored. So you can have sometimes, of course, some warmth, some cherry looks. Sometimes in India, we know you like it, and that's fine, but it's something that is held back in terms of reflect. So that's the synthesis that you need to know about French balayage. So I finish with this slide. Step 1, multi-technique 8 today, and dialight with the demonstration of Sacha. Step 1, perfectly blended, so seamless. And step 2, the nourishing gloss with all the qualities of dialight, acidic pH. And for those who don't have dialight, we have Magifashion that you could use 1 + 2, 20 minutes or 35 minutes, depending on the undercoat you have. Today, during the workshop with the masterclass, we're going to apply step 1. At the very end, we show you on a little part of a dolly head how to tone specifically the French way. But you can do after your masterclass the toning phase without us when it's going to be over after 11. Okay? Just for your information. Some countries will do it, some won't, but you can do that should you want to. But we're going to show you just before some details of application. So, guys, thank you very much. I'm going to leave the floor to Sacha. I stay with you. I say a big thank you if New Zealand is here, because we know that in New Zealand the time is very late. So guys, thank you very much for being here, and we hope you're going to stay up to the very end. And it's time to prepare the dolly head and start the mixing. So give us 2 minutes, and you as well, prepare your mix. Multi-technique 8, you can start mixing your powder and your oxidant, and we start in 1 minute. On est bon. Ouais.
Ok, on va mettre bien en face. Comme ça. Ça va là, c'est en face? Okay. Guys, so you prepare your dolly head. We are going to practice now. So this is a hair painting application. So I will explain to you why I will do this placement to keep the shadow and to reinforce the inlated parts on mid-length and ends. It's we are gonna respect the natural dark base. So, which is what is interesting into this application is to preserve the natural color on the roots. It's to preserve some parts to keep some contrast on zone 2, when you start to inlight it with the hair painting, and after to inlight it really the reverse of the hair and the ends. The complicated things or the tricky things is to not oversaturate the product on the hair. So you might be delicate and subtle, okay? But I'll show you step by step. Don't worry, I'm with you, okay? So you have to prepare your toilet. Take only one tail comb, one brush. This brush is perfect, L'Oréal Professionnel, the classical one. 3 pinces, 3 tips, only 3, because you will divide the hair in 3 parts. Why? Because like this, you will have a global vision about your balayage. So it's easier for you to see the placement and to analyze and to have a good vision about your French balayage. So let's start in the middle. The natural way. So if it's here, it's here. Okay. So you respect the natural way of the hair. So if it's a fake middle, you respect it. Okay? Like this, you're sure that your French balayage will be positioned really well. Okay. Now you will do another section behind the ear. Because you need to have enough hair on a section. Okay, so it's really important to go behind the hair. You put a clip. Same thing on the other side. Behind the hair. Okay. And all the back together. Okay. We are going to start by the front. Why? Because in hair painting, you will always want to have more light focused on the front, on the reverse, and on the ends. So it means that the lightest parts of your French balayage is here. So the face frame, the reverse, and the ends. So that's why it's smarter to start by the front. Like this, you can ensure to have the right undertone. Okay? So when you do your sections, you have to think about the face frame all the time. It means that you have all these parts needs to be enlightened. Okay? For that, you will divide it in your mind in 3 parts. So you keep it in your mind and you think that when you start, diagonal all the time. Diagonal. Why? Because horizontally, sometimes you can create marks and marbles. With diagonals, you're sure to have something more seamless. So you take the first angle here of the face frame. Not too big, not too small, because you need hair to support the product. Okay? Here you can analyze that you need 2 points of light. So what I do with my products, I put it on my glove here, like this. I stay really clean with the product. And I draw a line on my brush. Okay? It's really important to be clean at this moment because you are on a face frame and you want something graphical. So to draw something graphical, you have a line there. So you start by the first angle, okay, zone 1, and you can go further on zone 2. Then second, yeah. So that's for the first touch of light on the face frame, okay? Then you will paint the inside of the strain of hair. And you have to be seamless, remember. Okay, so it means that the graduation of the application might be really soft on zone 1. And you develop on zone 2. Then you paint the other side of the strain of hair. For the other side, you start in the middle of the zone 2. And you connect it to the zone 1, delicately. When you've done this, you go on zone 3, and you do an extra saturation on the arc of the hand. And you stay clean in your application all the time. Really important. Specifically on small pieces like this. Now you can massage it with your thumb to enter into the heart of the strand of hair. And I use to surface my finger, but I surface like really delicately also. You don't need to spray the product everywhere on the strand of hair. You just want to surface. So it means like it's like a plane, you know, when it's going. So just like that is enough. Okay, first one. You keep a wet towel close to you. It's important to clean your hand when it needs. Like this, everything stays super clean. Second section. Okay. Now you can go from the temple to behind the ear, and you remember it's a contouring, okay? So you need to have this vision that all the hair might be enlightened from the face frame and in the reverse of the hair. The reverse is really important because it's where the light, it's eye-catchy at the end when you do your hairstyle. So as you can see, this section is larger, but not so big, not so thick, okay? But large. Same thing with the product. You have to create a line on your brush to be graphical at maximum on zone 1, okay? A good tension is the key. So don't put your fingers too low, stay on the high part to ensure a good tension on the strand of hair, okay? On the section. So you start by zone 1, the face frame, delicately to have a nice graduation like this, really soft. and then you go down and you enlarge when you go down. You remember I told you about painting the reverse. So it's exactly this. So you put the strand of hair, the section up, and when it's up, you start to paint the reverse diagonally to create this effect of an enlightened hair from the inside. This is my signature. So you will find yours for sure, but I give you mine for now. I teach you mine. Like this, I hope you will be inspired by it. Me, I like when the light is coming from the inside, okay, on the hair. It's like a trick, like a magical thing, you know? So, yeah, I think you will love this effect when you will rinse your dirty head and you will see the results. So good saturation is really, really important, as you can see. And to stay soft on zone 1 is the key to have a perfect blend aspect, perfect blended aspect. Okay? When you've done with the reverse and you have a good saturation, you will paint the other side of the hair. So you start on zone 2. Tu veux passer là? And you connect with the zone 1. And you can use the back brush technique to ensure a perfect blended effect, like this. So don't be too strong with the back brush. Back brush, the position exactly is to be almost flat, like this. And you have to swipe up, okay? You have to swipe delicately, like this. And you see, it's perfectly blended in one application, okay? Don't forget to swipe and to keep your brush flat, like this, almost flat, okay? For the saturation of the zone 3, you will use the inside of your hand and you do an extra saturation. And it's nice to cross with the brush to enter into the strand of hair, like this. When I surface the hair, remember, with the finger, I told you, it's only to remove the excedent of product. It's like, Nicolas, une caresse en anglais? It's like a caress, you know, but really soft and delicate. You don't massage with the hand, okay? It's really like a soft movement. It might be sensual. Okay. This is for the second one. Now for
guys, don't hesitate if you have any questions. We are here for you, really. So any detail, any technical detail, you don't hesitate, really.
Yes, please. If you have some questions. So for the third section, you will close this part. Why? Because like this, you will focus on this part for the top. So for you, for organization, it's easier. And because you close it like this, like a big triangle, it will ensure to respect the sombre effect or the ombre effect of the hair, because the negative space is capital into this type of balayage on brunette. You have to preserve the natural dark base. So like this, you're sure to illuminate only the face frame and the front, and to keep the shadow behind. So this section helps you to really preserve the natural dark bases, okay? And to not spread the product everywhere and finish with a color results. So it's really important to clean your brush all the time when you're done with a section, okay? So you just do it with a towel like this, and you keep it clean. Remember, the first line might be graphical because you are starting to paint on zone 1, so close to the scalp, and it's delicate application. When you enter the zone 2, you start to enlarge. And then you put the section up and you start to paint the inside of the hair, to inlight the hair from the inside, you know, as I explained to you. This is my trick and my signature because it's my taste of color. It's my taste of balayage. But you will find your for sure. But it's nice to get inspired by some techniques like this and some hair artists to find your own one. So remember to be really delicate on zone 1 to ensure a perfect, seamless, and blended effect of your French balayage. And you give an extra saturation on zone 2 and 3. And then tension is the key. Huh? As you noticed, it's really important to have a good tension. To do the perfect blend, to create the perfect blend. Now we will paint the other side. So for the other side, we will start on zone 2 and connect with the zone 1. And we will use again the back brush technique from zone 2 to zone 3. We don't touch the zone 1. Remember, we preserve the natural dark base. This is your negative space behind. So it's really capital to preserve it. It's because darkness that light is so beautiful, you know? So they need to exist, to coexist. Both of them. It's the same thing in balayage. You massage the zone 3. Remember, with your thumb, delicately, but you have to go into the strain of hair. So don't remove the product. Give a good saturation and stay clean as maximum. It always needs an extra saturation on zone 3, 2 and 3. Because the hair drinks the product. Especially if it's dry hair, so on long hair, thick. And when you surface, you stay really delicate, and it's only to have a soft, blended effect. It's like a finisher, no? Okay? So this is for the temple. Now we will start with the back, with the top, sorry. Very simple. So you can adjust now the size of the dolly head because you need to be comfortable and to have a good vision of the top. Don't forget to take a step back sometimes to see your work and to have a global vision about how you will position your French balayage. It's really important. So this is the part of the contouring. I will not paint it right now. I will focus. So this is the part. This triangle is the part of the face frame. So for now, I'm not doing it. I will do it at the end. And I will focus on the part behind. To have a good vision and a good analysis of the thing, the light might be focused here, and the shadow might be focused on the back. Okay? So because you know that, now, you separate in your mind. I'm going to take all the section to be clear for you. But in your mind, you divide it like this, like two triangles. And I'm going to create a new triangle here with the back. So large one. Tension is the key, you remember? So good tension, specifically on large section like this, you have to have the maximum tension on zone 1 to be sure to stay graphical and clean when you start to paint. Clean brush, all the time, clean brush, and you create a line to start graphical. So delicate on zone 1 to have a natural aspect. And then you start to enlarge on zone 2. And you put the section up. And you paint it diagonally. The inside. And you connect it to the zone 1. A good saturation on zone 2 and 3 is the key to enlighten really well the hair. You need product for that. So clean application, but really generous in application. Okay. Do you have some questions, guys? I'm sure you have.
Il y en a un qui demande à ce que tu réexpliques les zones.
Les zones? Ok.
Ah non, c'est pas une Ah oui, elle explain the three zones.
Alors, zone 1 is the roots, zone 2 is the middle part, and zone 3 is the ends.
And so the transition is made with zone 1 and 2, finally.
Exactly, yeah. So now I use the back brush technique again. And I focus on preserve the negative space behind the section. extra saturation on zone 3. And delicately, you surface okay. So you clean your hand all the time, each section, and your brush. Like this, you ensure a really clean application, perfectly blended, and graphical on the loose.
Hi, Sasha. Can we have a look at the reverse side, Sasha, please?
Okay, so now we are closing with a new triangle from the face frame to the vertex. Same thing, you have to preserve the negative space behind. So you will focus on painting here the first angle of the triangle. Okay, the behind of the triangle might be dark. Okay. So tension is the key, remember. You start on zone 1, delicately. You enlarge on zone 2. And then you go upper with a section to paint the reverse diagonally from zone 2 to zone 3. And you connect the zone 1 delicately. You see the connection is really delicate on zone 1. Film ça? Okay, delicate on zone 1. Extra saturation on zone 2 and 3. It's really important. There is questions, Nicolas?
Yeah, there is Rata Jurin who has a question. I saw you raise your hand. Do you have any question for us? We can hear you if you talk. If you open your mic, we can hear you guys.
Some questions? Guys, give me some questions. It's important to exchange today. I'm here to answer to all your questions, to give you all my tricks and tips. So, okay. So back brush for the zone 2 and extra saturation on zone 3. And remember to preserve the natural dark base behind the section here.
We have a question from Length who say, will the length of the hair, est-ce que la longueur des cheveux will create influence on the ratio of the zoning? En gros,
of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, of course. You always adapt with the hair of the clients. That's why it's interesting with balayage, and because it's really on measure with each client, you offer something personalized. So of course you adapt with the length of the hair.
So it means that if we are on a bob, it's the zone 1 who will be a little shorter. That's what you mean?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly.
And Koja wants to see one more time how the section is taken for the next. Do you have any more sections to do or not?
Yes, I have three last.
Okay.
The section is in triangle, okay? So it's easy. You take the comb of your tail, okay? And you draw a diagonal section here to have a first triangle. Then a second triangle for the temple. Then you close it to create a big triangle to close the temporal zone. When you enter on the top, you do a first triangle like this to ensure the dark part here on the behind and the light part on the front. And you continue like this with a second triangle, this one, you see? And now you enter the face frame zone.
We have a question from Sung Jung. Can we do backcombing technique? Yes, we're going to do it, but on the other side after the break. So we're going to have options to make seamless differently. That's why.
Exactly. So the face frame. Okay. Now we enter this this part. So for the face frame, what I do, so it might be super precise. So you isolate really well the other side to see exactly what you will do, what you will paint. You have to think in triangle also. So here, there will be 3 triangle sections. The first one might be thin to thick. Why? I will explain to you. Because when you will start to paint on zone 1, you need to have the perfect seamless effect. So it means that on the face frame, the beginning of the painting will be really fine, really thin, and really delicate here, close to the scalp, okay? And you will enlarge the reverse of the hair to enlighten it from the inside, like this. So your triangle might be thin to thick, like this. So this is critical to have a perfect line draw on your brush when you start, and a really clean brush, okay? So you start on zone 1, close to the scalp, really close to the scalp, and delicate, like this. Then you start to enlarge the shape on zone 2. And you are gonna enlarge really really well when painting the reverse of the hair.
We have a question from Mark.
Bien sûr.
How do you keep the color so neat? So, comment conserves-tu la couleur si propre, si nette, when you drop from painting at a 90 degree? Quand tu déposes ton produit en peignant à 90 degrés.
Est-ce que tu peux reformuler?
Mark, when you ask at 90 degrees, you mean when the brush is flat or when it's like a pencil, vertical?
So no, so when you're holding the hair up like this, and then you put it down, it becomes very bumpy. Like I see a lot of people, it's bumpy on the hair, whereas Sasha is very neat when he pulls it down.
So your concern is more when he's changing the orientation of the section.
Yes.
How can you keep it neat from up to down? That's what you mean?
Yes.
T'as compris? Comment est-ce que tu arrives à garder la mèche propre alors que tu la démarres verticale et que tu la laisses tomber, donc elle va se plier? Et en gros, c'est parce que
c'est quoi?
Okay.
The tension is the key. So you keep a maximum tension on zone 1 when you start to paint. Then you start to paint on zone 2, you keep the maximum tension on zone 2. And then you go on zone 3, you keep the maximum tension. So like this, the hair is not like wavy. It stays straight. Because you start like pinching the zone 1, painting the zone 1. Pinching the zone 2, painting the zone 2. Pinching the zone 3, painting the zone 3. Like this, it stay clean. Okay? Good? So now
we have another question. If we have a fringe, how do we work with the face framing?
You divide in two parts the fringe. So, for example, in the middle.
Okay.
And like this, you can create exactly the same thing on the fringe.
So it's like I have my fringe like that.
Yeah.
I cut it.
You divide it into.
And I do my sections like my starting point in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Alors, another very interesting question from Jory. Asian woman likes to have the face look smaller. Okay? And the question is, how do we do that? So, as the light is around the face, we all know that everything that is lighter is expanding, is coming to you. And everything that is darker, the face, is going backward. So the more light you will put around the face, the smaller the face will look. And that's the beauty of the face frame, and that's the beauty of the contouring. I hope I answer your question, Jory.
Exactly. So what is interesting with this type of balayage, Jory, you can paint only the reverse and not the surface at all. Like this, you can keep for your clients this effect of a small face. But me, for this client, I decided to illuminate the surface. So with back brush technique, I create a perfect blended effect and I connect it with the reverse. But as you can see, I preserve a lot the negative space on the behind of the section, like this. Okay? Extra saturation on zone 3. And then you surface really delicately.
Alors, we have a tricky question.
Dis-moi.
From Sweeta. Alors, how big section to take while taking the first face framing? À quel point doit-on prendre une section grosse quand on est sur le face frame?
Okay.
And what would be different effects? Quels en seraient les effets différents de toutes les tailles? Et est-ce que est-ce que les sections du face frame dépendent de la structure du visage? Un peu dur là comme question. En gros, on va essayer de répondre simplement. Qu'est-ce qui détermine la taille de tes sections sur le face train?
Alors, the size of the head will determine how big the section might be. The size of the hair also, and how much I want to preserve the negative space. That's a good question.
And is it also, when we have the implantation point, here from here to here, then here to here, and then here to here. The natural drawing we have all, and sometimes it's practical to take from here to here, then here to here, and then here to here. So it's most of the time it's 4 or 3 pieces, depending on the graphic you have around the face.
Exactly. So on this one, I will focus more into the reverse. So I will not touch the surface on top.
Someone is asking, can you explain the section you have taken?
Alors, this section, I take it to cover the inlighted previous one. Okay? So that's why I will paint the reverse and not the top to have this magic effect about light coming from nowhere, from the inside. Okay? It's hidden. Extra saturation on zone 2 and 3, remember, it's really important. And connection on zone 1 might be really subtle and delicate. And you do a small connection on zone 3 only, with a back brush. Just to illuminate the end on zone 3. Give an extra saturation when you feel the hair is dry. It's really important to give an extra one. Okay? Don't hesitate to do that. Remember that the light might be focused on zone 2 and 3. So this is a section and parts that needs to be really saturated. So you stay clean, but you saturate. Generously. Pardon, Nicolas.
No. People want to know how the section has been taken. So maybe you already answered. And how do you create the tension? How do you hold your section? We have 2 questions at the same time.
Alors, the tension, as I explained to you, I will explain again. You pinch the section on zone 1. You pinch it, really. You control the hair. It's not the hair who controls you, okay? So you pinch zone 1. And you start painting on zone 1. I'll show you after. You stay clean and graphical. You draw a line on your brush. You will focus on painting the reverse also.
Doucement. A little more slow.
So you pinch close to the zone 1, and you paint close to the scalp, delicately, like this. Then, when you go zone 2, you pinch the zone 2, and you paint close to the zone 2. You see, when you pinch it and you keep the tension at maximum, it's easier to paint. When you want to paint the reverse, you pinch the zone 3, and you keep it like really with a lot of tension. And then you start to paint the reverse of the hair diagonally here. With the extra saturation, and you connect it to zone 1 delicately. And you see, I always pinch the strand of hair, the section. And I never pinch far away from my brush. It means that if I'm painting close to the roots, I'm pinching close to the roots. If I paint the middle of the hair, I'm pinching the middle of the hair on zone 2. If I go to zone 3, I pinch the zone 3. Okay? Stay always close from your brush. Like this, you can control the hair and the section. Ça va comme réponse, ça? Oui? Okay. It was an interesting question. After you have to practice to master this kind of thing, you know? So it's when practicing, it's easier to manage the tension and the saturation.
So we still have 5 minutes maximum, because after we're going to watch the Min Kim video. C'est la dernière mèche?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Now, saturation. And you can use the back brush technique. And you connect to the zone 1. To the zone 2. You connect the zone 2, you go on zone 3, and you finish with a back brush. Extra saturation.
Okay. We have a question from Swita. Do you always hold 90 degrees to the head while painting?
This is my signature on brunettes. So yes, I do that.
Okay.
But you have to find your own signature, you know? Me, it's because it's my taste of color, my taste of balayage, to have natural dark bases really preserved, and the light on the inverse of the hair, like a river of light, you know, from the inside. This is my taste, but you can modulate and find your own one and create some new things, you know? Well, this is what is interesting with the balayage.
But about holding the section at 90 degrees, that's the question.
Holding the section at 90 degrees, it's because of my taste of color to paint the reverse of the hair.
Ah, sorry. Okay.
It's because of it.
It allows you to paint on the second side.
Exactly. Okay. I'm painting in a reverse. It's like reverse painting, you know. But this is my signature. It's because it's my taste of color and because I create this technique to achieve this effect.
And we have a very interesting question from Isabella. Sacha, you haven't left much negative space throughout the ends. Donc en gros, tu as peint toutes tes pointes. Is it because of the result you want or because you are working on mannequin head?
It's because the result I want. Yeah, I want enlightened ends.
Okay, so then she said, would you leave more negative space to create dimension through the ends when working with real hair?
Not on the front, only on the back, but not on the front.
Okay.
And I will add only 2 pieces, maybe. you know.
So it means that the negative space here can go much down, when here is more up. That's what you mean. Okay. Sweeta is asking Sacha if the hair is frizzy.
Frizzy?
Frizzy, c'est frisé crépus, and lots of breakage avec des cheveux un peu cassants. Will you do the same? Est-ce que tu ferais la même technique?
Exactement. Mais par contre, je lisserai un petit peu cheveux.
C'est en anglais, réponds-lui.
Sorry. I will do a similar technique, but I will brush a little bit the hair before the balayage to have a good vision of the hair.
Okay. So guys, everybody, lots of persons are asking for a sectioning. As we're going to have a break in a few minutes, I'm going to do that for you quickly. Are we done, Sacha? Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
I hope you enjoy.
So bravo, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you get the spirit of what we mean by seamless. Okay, it's really the impossible way to stay where it starts and when it ends, and to keep, as Sacha said, the negative space. So the dark opposite zones, the counterweight. Okay, guys, you received so many elements from Sacha. As I told you in the beginning, we have Phim from New York who prepared kindly a video for us. So the first video is more technical, talking about French balayage and different aspects of it. So let's watch it just after the video. 10-minute break, and we see you to do the other side of the head just after. See you.
See you.